Hey, ready for law number 4? Law number 4. Always say less than necessary. When you're trying to impress people with words, the more you say, the more common you appear. The less in control. Even if you're saying something banal, it will seem original if you make it vague, open-ended, and sphinx-like. Powerful people impress and intimidate by saying less. The more you say, the more likely you are to say something foolish. When I read this law, it reminded me of my trainer's training in 1993. And I was stood up in front of my little group and about to speak, and I was not comfortable at all. And it didn't make sense to me because I'd already let go of my fear using timeline therapy. I'd already got rid of my limiting decisions and all that kind of stuff. And yet I didn't feel comfortable, and I wondered why. And I heard this voice in my head, and it wasn't mine. It was my dad's. And one of the things my dad used to say to me when I was a kid was this: it's better to sit in a room and say nothing and leave people wondering whether you're an idiot than to say something and prove it. Could be quite useful in certain contexts, not in the context of being a speaker, a presenter, or a trainer, because you end up in front of a room not saying anything. And that's what this law is about, though. And it's about saying only what's necessary. And I think of this particularly around answering questions. You know, people ask you questions, and really use your literal listening to listen to the question and what exactly they're asking for, and then only give them the answer that they're asking for. If they then ask another question, great. If you're okay with answering that question, with giving that information, then give it to them. Even after 24 years of doing this stuff, I fell foul of this law just last week. I was at a show, I was on a stand, we got lots and lots of visitors coming to meet us. It was the end of the day, I was tired. A gentleman came up to me and asked me a question, and it was a question I wasn't expecting to get. It was a bit of a curveball question. It took me off guard, and even after 24 years, do I get taken off guard? Yeah, of course you do. You're human. And he asked me a question, and I went on the defensive. Now, defensive immediately is not power. It's not a position of power. And I ended up telling him more, really, than possibly he knew about, let alone was asking about. And that caused even more questions, and it went down a fairly wrong path, a fairly dark path. There we go. It's just one of those things. And afterwards, I was looking at this law number 4, and I went, yeah, I should have remembered this law. So the thing around it is literal. Listen to the question you're being asked, answer the question. If the person asks you another question, answer the question. If you're not happy answering the question, then don't. Now, on the other side of things, as far as us using the law in NLP, what we've got the meta model, which enables us to ask really, really, really high quality information gathering questions, where we can really ask questions to get into the deep structure. In Massive Influence Squared, I even taught this thing called dark questioning, which was a questioning technology used by the security agencies around the world to be able to elicit information from someone that they weren't even aware that they were giving away. Tools and techniques, whether they fit with your own beliefs and values, that's for you to decide. But these are things that we need to be aware of, either for using ourselves or to being aware that other people are using on us. Law number 4, always say less than necessary.